Imagine this. You're an executive at a multinational corporation, and a crucial business deal with a Japanese firm is on the horizon. Now let's delve into a real-world example where a seemingly promising business deal between an American company and a Japanese firm fell apart. The culprit? A misinterpretation of cultural norms and communication styles. The American company was eager to seal the deal quickly. They were assertive, direct, and keen on getting to the point. On the other hand, the Japanese firm valued a slower pace, taking their time to build a relationship and trust before jumping into business discussions. These contrasting communication styles led to a significant misunderstanding. The Americans perceived the Japanese as hesitant or uninterested, while the Japanese felt rushed and disrespected. This misunderstanding came at a hefty price. Not only did the deal fall through, costing the American company millions of dollars in potential revenue, but it also tarnished their reputation. The Japanese firm, uncomfortable with the aggressive approach, spread the word in their business circles, causing a ripple effect of mistrust. This is a classic example of the high cost of miscommunication. It's not just about the immediate financial loss. The reputational damage can have a far-reaching impact, affecting future business opportunities and partnerships. In the era of social media and online reviews, word spreads quickly, and a company's image can take a hit almost overnight. This story underscores the importance of understanding and respecting cultural differences in business communication. In our increasingly globalized world, it's not enough to be proficient in your field. You also need to navigate the complex landscape of cross-cultural communication. Understanding the nuances of different cultures, their norms, their values, and their communication styles can help avoid costly misunderstandings. It can foster stronger relationships, open up new opportunities, and ultimately drive business success. In this globalized world, cross-cultural communication is no longer optional. It's a necessity. So what exactly is cross-cultural communication, and why does it matter so much? Well, let's dive in. Cross-cultural communication is the process of exchanging, negotiating, and mediating one's cultural differences through language, nonverbal gestures, and space relationships. It's about understanding the ways in which culturally distinct individuals communicate with each other. Now you might ask, why does it matter so much? In our modern globalized world, businesses are increasingly crossing borders, reaching out to diverse markets. This means working with people from many different cultural backgrounds. Here, cross-cultural communication becomes crucial. It can spell the difference between a successful business collaboration and a disastrous misunderstanding. Consider this. When you understand and respect different cultures, you open up the avenue for genuine dialogue. You can avoid awkward blunders, build trust, and foster long-term relationships. Effective cross-cultural communication can be a game changer in international business scenarios. It can help you navigate through cultural nuances, decode complex business etiquettes, and even negotiate better deals. Let's take it a step further. Imagine you're a business leader dealing with a multicultural team. A firm grasp of cross-cultural communication can help you motivate your team, resolve conflicts, and drive them towards a common goal. It can make your team feel valued and respected regardless of their cultural background. Moreover, it's not just about business. Cross-cultural communication also plays a vital role in international diplomacy, global health issues, and education. It promotes mutual respect and understanding, bridging the gap between diverse cultures. So as we can see, cross-cultural communication is more than just a buzzword. It's a vital skill in our interconnected world. It's a powerful tool that can lead to successful collaborations, mutual respect, and a more inclusive global community. In essence, cross-cultural communication is about understanding, respecting, and effectively interacting with different cultures. Let's dive into a real-life example. Remember HSBC's infamous Assume Nothing campaign? Yes, the banking giant HSBC found itself in a bit of a pickle with this one. HSBC, a multinational company, launched a global campaign with the tagline, Assume Nothing, to unify its brand and resonate with its international clientele. It seemed like a good idea. After all, Assume Nothing is a strong, assertive statement. It conveys a sense of trust, reliability, and transparency, doesn't it? Well, it turns out that things didn't go quite as planned. When the campaign was launched, the phrase was translated into various languages for different markets. And here's where things went awry. In several countries, assume nothing was mistranslated as do nothing. Quite a different message, isn't it? Instead of projecting an image of trust and reliability, HSBC was inadvertently telling its customers to do nothing. This blunder led to confusion and misinterpretation. The message was lost in translation, and HSBC was left with a costly mess on their hands. To rectify this error, HSBC had to rebrand its entire global private banking operations, replacing Assume Nothing with World's Local Bank. The cost? A staggering $10 million. Yes, you heard it right, $10 million, all because of a simple translation mistake. But the cost wasn't just financial. The company's reputation took a hit too. After all, how could a global banking giant make such a basic error? It raised questions about HSBC's competence and cultural sensitivity. This case study serves as a stark reminder of the importance of cultural sensitivity in business communication. A company's message can be easily misunderstood if it's not carefully crafted and translated. It's not enough to have a catchy slogan. It must also resonate with the target audience in the right way. HSBC's experience teaches us that even a simple translation mishap can cost a company millions. So the next time you're crafting a message for a diverse audience, remember HSBC's costly lesson. Don't just assume. Make sure your message translates as intended. Here's another interesting case: Ikea's catalog controversy in Saudi Arabia. Picture this. Ikea, the Swedish furniture giant, known for its flat-pack designs and its annual catalogs, distributed in millions around the globe. In 2012, Ikea released a version of its catalog specifically for Saudi Arabia. But this was not just any version. The company digitally erased all images of women from the catalog, a move that sparked a global backlash. Why did Ikea do this? Well, they were trying to respect Saudi Arabia's cultural norms, where modesty rules often limit the depiction of women in media. However, Ikea's approach was seen by many as an overstep, an overly cautious interpretation of these norms. The fallout was immediate. The international community criticized Ikea for reinforcing gender inequality. This controversy led to significant damage to Ikea's reputation. The company was accused of betraying its commitment to gender equality, a value deeply ingrained in its Swedish roots. Ikea was forced to issue a public apology, admitting that they got it wrong. This case demonstrates the potential pitfalls of cross-cultural communication. It highlights the importance of understanding cultural norms, yes, but also the dangers of overcompensation or misinterpretation. Ikea's decision to erase women from its Saudi catalog was seen as a form of cultural pandering that went too far. The lesson here is not to avoid adapting to different cultures. On the contrary, businesses should strive to understand and respect cultural differences. However, they must also strike a balance. They must ensure that in their quest to adapt, they do not compromise their own values or the values of their wider customer base. Ikea's experience in Saudi Arabia serves as a powerful reminder of the need for cultural sensitivity and understanding in cross-cultural communication. It's a clear testament to the fact that when businesses venture into new cultural territories, they must tread carefully, armed with a deep understanding of the local culture, but also a firm grasp of their own identity and values. Ikea's experience reminds us that understanding cultural norms is crucial in international business. Now that we understand the importance of cross-cultural communication, how can we improve it? Let's dive right into it. One of the most effective strategies is to educate ourselves about different cultures. Knowledge is power, and in this case, it can help us avoid misunderstandings and foster mutual respect. This doesn't mean we need to become experts in every culture, but a basic understanding of common customs, values, and communication styles can go a long way. Next, let's talk about the importance of being open-minded. When we communicate across cultures, we're bound to encounter ideas and viewpoints that differ from our own. It's crucial to approach these differences with an open mind, ready to learn and adapt. This will not only help us understand others better, but also broaden our own perspectives. Active listening is another key component. It's not just about hearing the words that someone says, but understanding the intent behind them. This involves paying attention to nonverbal cues, asking clarifying questions, and providing feedback that shows we're engaged in the conversation. Finally, let's not forget the importance of clear, simple language. It's easy to fall into the trap of using jargon or complex phrases that might not translate well across cultures. To avoid this, we should strive to use plain, straightforward language as much as possible. This makes our messages easier to understand and helps prevent miscommunication. These strategies, while simple, can significantly improve our ability to communicate effectively across cultures. They allow us to show respect for other cultures, build stronger relationships, and create a more inclusive environment. But remember, these strategies are not a one-time effort. They require continuous practice and refinement. Remember, effective cross-cultural communication starts with respect and understanding. And with these strategies in your toolkit, you're well on your way to becoming a more effective communicator in our increasingly globalized world. As the world continues to globalize, the importance of cross-cultural communication will only increase. The future of cross-cultural communication is not just on the horizon, it's right here, right now. We're living in an era where borders are becoming less relevant each day as we connect with people from all corners of the globe in real time. This increasing globalization is transforming the way we communicate and interact, making cross-cultural understanding more crucial than ever before. Imagine the modern workplace. It's no longer confined to a physical office, but extends across countries, continents, and time zones. Remote work is no longer the exception, but increasingly the norm. In this digital workspace, team members might be based in Tokyo, New York, London, or Sydney. They bring with them their unique cultural perspectives, shaping the way they think, communicate, and collaborate. This diversity is a strength, but it also presents a challenge. To work effectively in this global arena, we need to understand and appreciate these cultural differences, making cross-cultural communication skills vital. But it's not just in the workplace where these skills are needed. As our societies become more multicultural, cross-cultural communication is becoming a part of our everyday lives. Picture your neighborhood, your child's school, or your local supermarket. They're likely to be a melting pot of different cultures, languages, and traditions. This diversity enriches our communities, but it also requires us to navigate a complex web of cultural nuances. In this future where cultures intermingle and overlap, misunderstanding is not an option. We must strive to understand, respect, and adapt to different cultural norms and values. We need to listen more, assume less, and view the world through a wider lens. This is the future of cross-cultural communication, a future where empathy, understanding, and respect guide our interactions. In the future, cross-cultural communication skills will not be just an asset, but a necessity. Before we part ways, let's quickly recap what we've learned about cross-cultural communication. We kicked off our conversation today by discussing the cost of miscommunication. It's not just about money, it's about relationships, trust, and time. We learned that the stakes are high, and the price of getting it wrong can be disastrous. Our journey then took us to the core of understanding cross-cultural communication. We discovered that it's not just about different languages, but also about appreciating the cultural nuances, the unspoken rules, the gestures, and the contexts that shape our interactions. It's like a dance, where both parties need to know the steps and move in sync to create harmony. We then dove into real-world examples of communication blunders, starting with HSBC. Their Assume Nothing campaign was a classic example of how a simple phrase can be lost in translation, leading to confusion and ultimately a costly rebranding. This case study served as a stark reminder that something as seemingly straightforward as a tagline needs careful consideration when addressing a global audience. Next, we explored Ikea's cultural misstep in Saudi Arabia. They faced backlash for airbrushing women out of their catalogs, a decision that was met with strong criticism. This case highlighted the importance of understanding the cultural and societal norms of the markets companies operate in, and showed us that cultural sensitivity isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a must-have. From here, we moved on to strategies for effective cross-cultural communication. We learned that it's about active listening, about understanding that the same message can be perceived differently by different cultures. It's about being empathetic, adaptable, and open to learning. It's about building bridges, not walls, and using communication as a tool for connection, not division. Finally, we look towards the future of cross-cultural communication. We discussed how technology is reshaping the landscape, making the world smaller and more connected. But we also acknowledge that technology alone isn't the solution. The human element, our ability to understand, appreciate, and respect each other's cultures, remains at the heart of effective communication. Remember, in this globalized world, understanding and effectively communicating with different cultures isn't just good for business. It's essential for mutual respect and understanding between diverse groups of people. So as we step into the future, let's carry these lessons with us. Let's strive to be better communicators, better listeners, and better global citizens. Because when we get cross-cultural communication right, we're not just succeeding in business, we're fostering a more inclusive, understanding, and respectful world.